Alright guys, we are here with Chris, another contender for round one with his 2015 Mustang GT. Are you excited for round one?
Oh, of course, it's track time. Who doesn't love track time?
Right. Well, could you tell us a little bit about your car, the little mods that you've done, and what class you're going to be participating in?
Absolutely. So I got this car back in November. I needed a daily. So, of course, as it all starts, never modify your daily. Yeah, so what happened was... no, I built this one for Enthusiast class. It's the easiest class to get into. It's price affordable. Everyone's limited by tire and suspension mods. So for someone who has considerable track time under their belt, it was a good class to get into. 220 treadwear tires, Goodyear Eagle F1s, nothing fancy. 18 by 11 square. We're limited to single adjustable shocks, so I went with the MCS TT1s. Chose those because it's a modular system and I can always update if I go up to a next class next year or something. Other than that, it's Ford Performance Racing hubs all the way around, ARP, wheel studs, tow hook. Eventually it'll have a splitter, a rear wing. They just didn't make it in time with...
a splitter? Well, you already have one.
No. If you come down in here, you'll see the splitter mounts are actually turned backwards. They're welded onto the factory crash beam. It actually picks up 5-6 points. It's got splitter tunnels, 9 lives racing rear wing. The engine's completely stock clutch, stock trans, stock diff. Only other thing I really did was I added a tow hook because, funny story, Mustangs don't actually come with them, despite being probably like the most crashed car ever. And yeah, racing seat, harness bar, 6-point harness, and I got G-lock brake pads coming this week, hopefully. If not, we'll be going to the track on unknown brake pads, but that's about it. It's a very simple build, just get some track time and see what it does.
And is this going to be like your first ever like time attack competition? Or?
Yes, yep, this will be my first time attack. Just recently I grabbed a Garmin Catalyst so I could actually see how my driving compares.
Yeah, those are nice.
Yeah, kind of got you hooked. You're like, I want to beat my last time. I want to drive a different car, and I want to beat my time. And it's like,
so what'd you drive before the Mustang?
So, let's see. I started in a 2015 M3, which I started building for time attack, and then I got too carried away, and now it's a full frame chassis build, and just way over. And then I used to work for Dynan, so a lot of the development Dynan cars.
Oh, okay.
I drove those on track. And now I'm here at 034 Motorsport, and it's a lot of Audi Volkswagens.
Yeah, and they're one of our good sponsors. You kind of...
Shameless plug, baby!
You kind of got an advantage. You got to shop.
Remember that when my review comes around, Javad.
You got to shop to work on your car, for easy access, alignments, and all that good stuff.
You got to coordinate all that stuff, though.
Yes.
A lot of these guys have big builds and stuff, and you're like, oh, you work for a shop, so you're spoiled. You have tools, you have all this stuff, and it's like, no, these guys are doing motor builds. They're doing big turbo kits. Like, a lot of these cars live on the racks for, a week at a time, and you're like, I really need to get this part in. You're like, here's jack stands and a floor jack, and you're like, well,
I'm trying to compete in the name of 034, but you don't even have a Volkswagen or Audi, so.
I love them, but for me and how I like to drive, they just don't communicate well with me. Like the inputs, I just don't receive them how I do in like a rear-wheel drive car. And yeah, being a calibration engineer, I log these cars all the time. In turbocharged cars, they suffer with heat. So when I wanted to do time attack, I wanted a naturally aspirated car, something that will not get hot, will not overheat, and is just reliable. I get in, I start it up, I warm it up, I go on track, it does what I want it to do, then I come off the track, and I just repeat the process over again. I don't have to worry about putting a blower on the intercooler to keep it cool in between rounds. I don't have to worry about oil temps going too crazy, coolant temps getting out of control. It does what it was designed to do.
Awesome. Could you show us your racing seat to see what you're working with?
I stole this out of my BMW.
Wow, that's nice. That is super nice. Keeps you nice and planted.
Absolutely. But yeah, it's just a basic OMP containment seat. Not one of their popular models, but I sat at Discovery Parts over at Road Atlanta. No, not Road Atlanta. AMP, Atlanta Motorsports Park, and just sat in a bunch of seats and this is one that just fit me perfectly, and I will never buy another seat because it just works. Like, I have one Sparco pillow that if my back starts to hurt on long drives, just goes right there. But other than that, I daily this car 2-3 hours a day commuting, and it's perfectly comfortable.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. Good luck on round 1. I'll see you then.